Hello dear students, so we are going to continue with the chapter Paths to Modernization, and today we will be talking about the Meiji Restoration. What does the term Meiji mean? Actually, from 1868, the reign of the emperor under whom the modernization of Japan had begun was known as Meiji, and the meaning of Meiji is enlightened government. So, for centuries, we have seen that the Japan was under military generals, and the military generals, they exercised real power in Japan, while the emperor was a mere figurehead. So in 1868, the defeat of the Tokugawa signaled the return of the emperor to actual power and beginning of Meiji Restoration. So what are the basic things that happened in Meiji Restorations? Let us quickly see to it. The peasantry was disarmed. Earlier, during the military general rule, the farmers were also, given all the power to carry arms and swords and all. So after the restoration, the peasantry was disarmed and only samurais could carry the swords. I think you have heard this word samurai. Samurai is a caste, it's a warrior caste, and this ensured, because now other people were not allowed to carry swords or other arms, this ensured peace and order, ending the frequent wars of the previous centuries. Daimyo, who was a vassal, were ordered to live in capitals of their domains, each with a large degree of autonomy. Land surveys were done, lands were identified, owners were identified, taxpayers were graded, and land productivity was graded to ensure a stable revenue base. Daimyo's capital became bigger, whereby Japan not only had 3 large cities, Edo, Kyoto and Osaka, but half a dozen castle towns with populations of over 50,000. This led to the growth of commercial economy and created financial and credit system which enabled modernization. Let us quickly see that what are the other things which the modernization brought. Officials were sent to study the European monarchies. When the Meiji Restoration took place, the emperor, how the monarchs of the Europe, they are following the administrative structure. As I have discussed in my previous class, that Japan blindly followed the European structure. So, after Meiji Restoration, the officials were sent to European countries to study the European monarchies. And when they came back, whatever they said, according to that only they planned to model their own monarchy system. The emperor would be treated with reverence as he was considered a direct descendant of the sun goddess. And not only this, he was also shown as the leader of the westernization. You can make it out that how powerful the emperor became, that his birthday was declared as a national holiday. He wore western style military uniforms, and edicts were issued in his name to set up modern institutions. Let us see that how the education system got affected. A new school system began to be built with the 1870s. Schooling was compulsory now for boys and girls, and by the year 1910, almost even everyone were supposed to go for till the universities. Yesterday when I was discussing the introduction, I said that Japan is a poor country as per the natural resources. There is no natural resource in Japan, but Japan treats its human as a resource. So each human was treated as one resource. Tuition fees were made minimal. The curriculum had been based on Western models, but later on, much later, 1870s, even they started emphasizing on the modern ideas, and along with that they also stressed on the loyalty of the study of Japanese culture and Japanese history as well. Ministry of Education exercised control over the curriculum and had a keen look on the textbooks, which they say that the textbook should be of proper standard as well as the teachers should be trained. What was called moral culture had to be taught. It was made compulsory in Japanese curriculum that moral culture had to be taught. Text urged children to revere their parents, to respect their parents, and to remain loyal to the nation and to become good citizens. Along with this, to integrate the nation, the Meiji government imposed a new administrative structure also by altering the old village and domain boundaries. How was this administrative structure formed? The administrative unit had to have a adequate number of revenue, and with that revenue they were given three orders to be checked up. What were they? First, to make sure that all these revenue units had got a local school, and there are health facilities and even the centers for the military. All young men over 20 had to do a period of military service. It was compulsory. A modern military force was developed. A legal system was set up to regulate the formation of political groups. Control system was set up, and the holding of meetings and imposed strict censorship. In all these measures, the government had to face opposition. It was quite obvious when you are restructuring the entire government, you have to face opposition. The military and the bureaucracy were put under the direct command of the emperor. And let us quickly see what is the modernization in the economy done. Another important part of the Meiji reform was modernizing the economy. Funds were raised by levying an agricultural tax. A new kind of tax was imposed. Japan's first railway line between Tokyo and the port of Yokohama was built up from year 1870 to 72. Textile machinery was imported from Europe, and foreign technicians were employed to train workers, as well as to teach in the universities and schools. And Japanese students were sent abroad. So you can see that they were not they were not fully depending on their own people, because they wanted to follow the European structure. So not only they were borrowing people from outside, from the European countries, but once the basic education was over, the children were even sent to the European universities to study further. Companies like Mitsubishi, very, very famous name, and Zaibatsu, these organizations, they became the dominating economic center, and the population from 35 million, which was in 1872, increased to 55 million in 1920. Now, as I said, they did not destruct the population, but they replaced them. And how the population was replaced, to reduce the stress, they divided the population into, especially the indigenous people area like Ainu and all, Hawaii, which was there in Brazil, the colony areas, the population was distributed. There were industrial workers. Let us quickly see, over half of these employed modern factories workers were all women. You will be very surprised to know that in the initial time, almost 4 million workers were all women in the factories, and it was women who organized the first modern strike also in 1886. But after 1900, the number of men began to increase, and only after 1930 that the men could outgrow the size of the women. The size of factories also began to increase. Factories which were having 100 of employees, they started having 2,000 employees. And to sustain the family-centered ideologies, just as the nationalism was sustained by a strong patriarchal system, the emperor was focused to be as the head of the family, or like a family patriarch. So this rapid and unregulated growth of industry and the demand for natural resources such as timber led to environmental destruction also. So in this way, the political and economic structure of the Japan with the course of time changed. So children, I'm getting over with the class right now, and kindly go through the video 2 or 3 times to understand, because it is a bit different from the other classes. And thank you for joining up the class. God bless you all.